Okay, I've been bubbling, so.
If you make a categorical statement that
Yeah.
black men
As a whole.
oppress, it's just like saying Muslims are terrorists just because an individual commits a crime.
Welcome to Bridge the Gap, a show where we aim to build a bridge of understanding between opposing views. Each episode, you'll see our participants sit down to discuss some thought-provoking statements.
The phrase, black men oppress black women, is unfair.
If they disagree with the statement, they'll leave their seat and allow those that agree to explain themselves.
I don't understand how black men as a whole can have that sort of power when we don't have that sort of power in society at all.
Those that disagree then return and express themselves to the rest of the group.
But for me, the statement, black men oppress black women, is an attack on black men. It's an attack on patriarchy and sexism within the diaspora.
Hopefully building a bridge of understanding. Let's see what happens.
Black male privilege exists.
I don't know if I understand.
Black male privilege exists.
I think in what context?
Do you think there is a such thing as black male privilege?
So privilege specific to black men.
Black men?
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yes.
I don't want to agree. It's more than
Be bold in your views.
The thing is, I don't know.
I'm not a black man.
Can I sit in the middle?
But I think
I just want to sit in the middle here.
I think in some instances it does exist.
Compared to whom?
That's the thing.
If it's life,
If it's compared to black women,
Comparison.
Everyone
It's
has
just,
privilege on its own if you're not comparing it to anything.
yes, not in comparison. I feel like it could be a privilege to be a black man in a sports environment or in, let's say,
let's not confuse privilege and advantage. I feel like they're different.
no, but even an advantage is a privilege because if you're privy to that advantage, you're privileged to it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So I feel like in some instances, there is a privilege for black men to get certain things.
Most definitely compared to women.
Because it could even just be to their genetic composition. They could just be able to jump higher, run faster. It's a privilege.
I think.
Did you come back? Did you change your
Yeah,
mind?
she's right. And even if you look in like other countries, like in like Nigeria and other countries, like
Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
you've
in
got, like,
Nigeria.
yeah,
You're
like,
taking it there.
even
I'm
in
really
Ghana.
saying
You the same thing in
Yeah.
Jamaica. It's the same thing.
Yeah, actually.
Same thing.
It exists.
I feel like if male privilege exists, then black male privilege it inevitably exists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly where I'm at with it, to be honest. Yeah.
I think it exists for sure.
Yeah.
I think it looks different to what maybe a white male's privilege
when you
is.
compare
Yes, it's when you're making a comparison to
That's
somebody
what I
else's
understand what I was thinking about.
Let's not do
deal, and I'm not going to make that comparison. I'm going to stick. So, some of it is very, very, very true. Some of it, but to the same extent, there's also the disadvantages that come with it.
Yeah.
Right?
I strongly
is-
believe the black man, sorry to cut you, is like the most endangered species that exists.
Honestly, I'm going to give you a prime
The
example.
black man is.
Yeah,
The most
I'm in-
endangered
No, black
species.
women are.
In what sense?
I would say-
In what sense?
I feel like we're inevitably more endangered.
Stuff. I feel like the most endangered
That's not right.
species. I feel like it's the black man, and I'm a black woman, and I'm saying
No, I just
I
disagree.
really believe like you can
From a
shoot
statistical
someone in the
point
neck
of view, can you disagree?
and they will survive.
No.
You
In
shoot
terms
them
of
in
the
the
vote,
head,
can you disagree?
But are we
I know
focusing
where
on
that
the word
comes from. I know it-
endangered? That's
you're-
why, isn't it? You're
Yeah.
focusing on the Yeah, word she's
saying
endangered.
endangered.
I know where
Okay.
you're coming from because you're thinking of intersectionality, and so black women being, sexism against black women and racism against black women, and so you're using that to say that black women would basically.
Okay, so does anyone have statistics then?
No.
Well, in
that's
terms
fine.
of homicide,
Statistics
I
for
don't
what?
About
like
actual,
numbers, right? But in terms
I
of
do usually have the
homicides,
numbers,
black
but
women,
I feel like-
black men have, obviously, victims of homicides to a greater degree than black women are. They're victims of police killings to a greater degree than black women are. So if you're talking about from a statistical point of view, I don't know the numbers, but.
But is that English
that's-
statistics?
That's
Is that what?
that's
That is
statistics
statistics,
overall.
No, is it
Like,
We don't have
statistics?
statistics, though.
We can't say the obviously in the
What are the
conversation.
stats?
Yeah, in the conversation, yeah.
The numbers.
The numbers are the black men is dying at a faster rate to the black
Okay,
women.
fair enough.
Let's just be honest
At a
about what's
faster
at a faster rate because of the environments we're in and the things that's continued every
and not
day.
even to women, just
Yeah?
in general.
Just in general, if we're talking about just black though in general, that's why I
Yeah.
use the black women in general. So in that, when we're having these conversations, that's why I sway away from the statistics because it's there in black and white. But everything you're saying in regards to the internalizing the system you're right. I can't disagree with you. So I hear what you're saying, but when it comes to what's happening every day with the youngsters and the people on the streets, black women are not dying in that sense.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Different
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's different issues,
Like
and our
domestic
struggles are
violence,
different.
rape, that's where black women face the brunt of.
You understand? And I can't. I always say this to the black men: our struggles aren't the same as the black women. Please understand that when we're having these conversations.
That first question, I didn't say a word.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's there.
What could I say?
What can you say?
That's smart guy.
What can I say?
What can we say? What can we say? We just have to sit there and just listen.
Yeah.
There's nothing we
But
can
you know
say.
what? The funny thing with privilege is it's not like a choice. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, it's not like you don't choose.
That's why I
The
wouldn't mix up with
privilege.
advantage. I can put
Yeah.
myself at an advantage. I can make the decision to give myself an advantage, going and getting a master's, going and I can put myself at an advantage, but I feel privilege. You don't be like, oh, well, I want privilege, so I'm going to go out and get it. It's kind of that's why I didn't want
It's
to
given
conflict
to
the two.
access to that.
Yeah, that's
And
why I
then
didn't
it's
want
like,
to
what do you
conflict
then do with the
Thank you,
privilege
thank
as
you.
well?
So
You know what I mean? Where
inverse-
do we go from here? So even if black men are, what was the statement, more privileged
More
than
privileged.
black
No,
women?
Not more privileged.
No, how do
What's the
you
statement?
how do you
No
actually
comparisons.
quantify the
It
privilege?
just said there's black.
It depends on the
Like, how
situation.
we compare
It
it,
all
it's
really
just different
depends on
issues.
whatever
But
the
this-
dynamic
what
of
you gonna
the
say?
situation is.
What's the flip?
The flip of this to me is being 6'5", black, having a deep voice, having long hair. To some people, I am not what they want to see in an office environment. Let me tell you that right now. I make them very uncomfortable. Just my being there makes them very uncomfortable. It's tough for some people to look at me
Same for
every
them.
single morning.
Close your
But
eyes.
when they're in positions of power, some people I honestly think there were some people that they enjoyed maybe trying to make my day more difficult. They get to do this to a 6'5" towering black human
show
being.
you. Let me show you.
Yeah, it's huge.
Listen.
And this is what I'm trying to say. There are situations where I've been in where, yes, everything that I have has been my advantage. But the flip of it is just there. It's a double-edged sword, right? You feel the flip of it. In one room you're walking to, you'll be celebrated. In the other room, you will be demonized.
So would you say it's a bit of a blessing and a curse at the same
It's
time?
as with
I think privilege is a blessing and a curse because you don't choose it. So it's
And it manifests differently in
Yeah.
different places.
As I said, one room,
Pretty
great.
privilege.
The other
pretty
room,
privilege. How are you going to control
I've
being
been
pretty?
in
I'm
that
just pretty.
position.
Like,
You know,
it's
I've
fine.
related with that so much. My head chef was this tall, like about that white guy. When I stepped in that room, yeah, and every single time he had to look up at me, yeah, and speak to me, he felt some type
you
of
can
way.
feel
Oh,
it.
like-
And the
You
thing
could
is,
feel it.
can
You could feel it from the minute, and I was the only black man in that kitchen. So nobody else could see what I was going through. Every time he spoke to me, how he looked at me, and the other black man that was in the kitchen was the kitchen porters who did the washing. So obviously I was of a power in the kitchen because I worked my way up.
Yeah.
But every time he spoke to me and carried it in maneuver, remember, when you work, I always advise people, yeah, do some time in working in the city because it opens your mind to what really goes on in these societies because it's so much more deeper than you actually think. Some places were celebrated, some places were not. But when you deep what the actual racism that goes on inside these offices and these places, your head will be rattled.
In saying that, because I don't work in the city, why should I be attracted to the city when I'm quite comfortable with where I am? Just to kind of...
Just to like, for me, I wouldn't say be attracted to. I just say, just look at what some black people go through. Because some people don't.
You're just saying it for the experience,
Just for the
right?
experience. Because
just have that perspective.
just have that perspective. I'm not saying go work there, because I'm out of there now. I had to literally, I went through a situation, yeah, that the problem I had with a black man who was, again, when he said the word coon, who was a coon, I had to sue my company because of the fact of what he was doing to me for over a year and a half. This wasn't based on talent, this wasn't based on ability. This was based on he didn't like black people. He said it out of his mouth. Everything that he said was, look,
How are we not
you know what I'm saying?
fighting?
So,
Wow,
so,
this is so
and it's mad. And the
When-
company turned around and said to me, yeah, the reason why they're happy to get rid of me, which don't get me wrong, they got rid of me, but it came at a cost. It came at a very, very big cost. He fits the narrative. He fits the narrative of a black man who understands what they are pushing in this company. And because our clients was white and of a different nature, he's been there a lot longer than I was. So they got rid of me and said, you know what, we're gonna keep him. But this is what goes on, is that, like I said, we're not the ones that sit at this table. We're not the ones out there that sits there. The people that sit there at these tables are people that fits the mold that they've designed. If you don't fit that, no, bro, you're not gonna work there.
And
That's
let's
what I
let me just say,
realised. So say what you're saying, bro.
I'm going to say, forget your intellect, it doesn't matter how smart. If you don't fit their narrative, everything else you do will be a problem. Like it is honestly a double-edged sword. If you're like, to be stupid and black is one thing, right? Honestly, to be stupid and black is one thing, and things don't hit you that hard. To be smart and black is to, I can't remember who quoted it, is to eternally be in a state of rage. Because you can see the injustice that's happening to you. I can see what happened to one of the NBA.
Now, but I hear what you're saying, because I came from like a creative space, which gave me leverage to go into like the corporate and investment, all those kind of spaces. And I feel like those are a bigger microcosm of society than just working like within people who, like, say you may be working with people from the same class and stuff. When you go to see where there's actual power, you know, when you sit with people that are billionaires and millionaires, you see how the decisions are made in this country. Do you get what I'm saying? And then you really see how oppression happens. You get what I'm saying? Like he's saying, when people don't look like you, these are the things that then trickle down to the lower levels, and we're all like, what's going on? You know what I mean? But I think that city example or that corporate space is important to really see it.
Deeper than, don't worry, everyone that you see them taking a knee on football, forget them lot. They're not the issue. Forget their racism. Forget what they're going through, not in that disrespectful way. But we have a bigger problem here at hand. This is every day.
That's why code switching is so privy within the corporate environment. And sometimes I wonder, how do you become a coon? Maybe you actually code switch. You could have code switched so much.
No, it's true,
right?
it's true.
To level up, and then you actually forget what you're switching from, and you become that.